Okay. We'd like to welcome you to the university again. We're going to open up the class here at the university where everyone will get a PhD in the system of racism, white supremacy, where there are no big I's or little U's, and where we are always, that's why we named it the university, we are, as Mr. Neely Fuller puts it, we are still learning. We are still learning. So we are, like I said, there are no big I's or little U's. There are no priest class where anybody have a special section, special seat. You know, in some churches, you could pay money and get a good seat, or you can pay no money and they put you in the balcony somewhere. Well, it ain't like that at the university. We're all up front, and we're all on the mourner's bench, really. And we'd like to welcome all of you here at the for another class at the university. And we're going to get right to it. As we always do, we're going to open up with the definition of racism, white supremacy, that here at the university, we as students and professors, because as we teach, we're learning too. And so everybody that's on here, you're a student or you're a professor and a student, every single one of you. And there's no one, including myself, bigger than the other one. But we're going to open up with the definition of racism, white supremacy, that I encourage you to learn. We came up with that definition, we here at the university, by studying Mr. Neely Fuller and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and Imam W.D. Muhammad. So we came up with this definition, and we're going to tell you why. Well, we can tell you now the importance of it, because there once was a time here in this country, and everybody that's on here presently, my cousin and my auntie and Junior, are old enough to remember when we used to say white people sick dogs on us and don't want us to vote because they just don't like us. They hate us. But God has blessed us to come into a better understanding of things. And I would say it is scientific. It is scientific in the way the definition is delivered. And what it says is going to tell you how racism, white supremacy moves. And it is scientific because of those who came before us. And I was blessed to meet at least two of these textbooks, we call them. That's Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and Imam W.D. Muhammad, up close, like I know you. I knew them up close. And I met Mr. Neely Fuller through Facebook. But here is the definition. Racism, white supremacy is a worldwide system of domination for the genetic survival of those people that are classified. Remember I said genetic. For the genetic survival of those people that are classified as white. It has patterns of control in speech, thought, system formation, patterns, action, and emotional response. The system operates in 10 areas of human activity: education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, health, and health. For the ultimate goal, for the genetic survival of those people that are classified as white. That is the definition. You can learn that definition. You should learn that definition so you can teach others. Just like when we dance, let me see, I can take this out. Just like when we dance, we that same dance that they do here in Texas, whatever it may be, step, step to the side, step like that stuff R. Kelly came with, step in the name of love. You know what I'm talking about. They do that same dance in New York. And they do the same dance on the way on the other side of this country in California. If we can move dancing, that's the same way we will move this definition. By the end, the university is saying we're going to make a prediction, a challenge. You know, you got all kind of challenges, and I'm gonna put it on Facebook. And I urge you to post it and repost what I'm about to say too, please. By the end of 2021, every African American in the United States will know the definition of racism, white supremacy, and exactly how it works. By the end of 2021, God tells us to make those predictions and challenges. Work. So that is a challenge and a prediction that we should try to do. And I am encouraging every student and professor to do that and start inside your own house. Then your cousins and the older relatives in your family. Don't be abrasive, but start inside your own house and amongst your own family, and then outside of your family, and then the county. I mean, then the town, the city, the county, the area, and then the whole country. By the end of 2021, every single African American of age will know exactly what racism, white supremacy is, and how it works. Now, the definition I gave you, we're going to move right into the topic. We're going to talk about genetics, and we're also going to talk about genocide. The definition I just gave you had genetics in it. It is dealing with the genes of a person. Like in my family, most of us have broad noses. Most of the people in my family. Some are darker than others. All of us have brown eyes. All the ones I've seen have brown. I'm sure there's some without brown eyes. But that has direct connection to genetics. Now, this is science. This is science, what I'm talking about. That's why I said that the definition that we give is a definition from science. It's talking about the genes of a person. Now we are talking about a particular group. So in the darker you are, the more dominant your genes are. The lighter you are, the more recessive your genes are. If you're just coming on, we're talking about genetics, and we're going to talk about genocide. The lighter you are, the more recessive your genes are. Now, in that definition, I'm going to repeat it so you could hear it again. Racism, and I'm going to stop after I keep going. Racism, white supremacy is a worldwide system for the genetic, you hear that? For the genetic survival. There is no group that humans know of, no other group of humans that we know of that threaten the genetic survival of Black people. Uh, maybe I should be, well, without killing them physically or shooting them. I guess that would threaten the genetics. Yeah, it will. It will. But we don't fear being destroyed genetically by just knowing each other sexually. I hope you're following me. We do not fear our genetic annihilation by knowing white people sexually. I am saying that by having sex with a white woman does not strike fear in me that we will destroy, or she will destroy Black people or disrupt our genetic material, because she will not. Now, on the other hand, white people created a system. Racism, white supremacy. Remember, racism, white supremacy is a worldwide system for the genetic survival of those people that are classified as white. So they created a system. We're talking about genetics. So they created a system. Why did they create this system? Because once they found out that their genetics, their genetic material, their genes can be totally destroyed by simply laying down with a Black man or a Chinese man or a person from India. But the darker you are, the more strong your genetics, your material is. See, racism, white supremacy is an attack on all people of color. That's Chinese, that's Vietnamese, that's Mexican, that's Indian, that's indigenous Americans, that's Eskimos. Just keep going. That's Arabs, that's Jewish people, so-called Jewish people, people of the Jewish religion that are Semitic, and people of the Jewish religion that are not Semitic. See, all of those people threaten white people with genetic annihilation. They don't say, well, I'm gonna wipe white people out. I want to wipe them out. No, just by merely having sex with their women. Now vice versa too. Just by people of color that are women having sex with their men, the same thing is gonna happen. But I'm using a male because he is the only one that can force sex upon the opposite one, upon the female. The female can't force sex on a male. For example, if you get a gun and put it to Lester's head, we call him Junior, and put it to Junior's head, ain't nothing happening below his belt because he's gonna be too scared. You get a pit bull and they're snarling and mashing of teeth, and the woman say, Junior, you come on in here and get in this bed. And if you don't, I'm gonna let this dog out on you. That dog snarling and mashing his teeth, ain't nothing happening. He ain't gonna be able to do nothing. But a male can do the same thing to a female and go into her. You understand? So that's why we say males. Now listen to this. We're talking about genetics. My uncle told me, J.D. Tanner, may the Creator, Felicia's father, may the Creator bless him with paradise, told me once that one of his friends, I believe Uncle JD was like in the ninth grade at that point, told me that one of his friends was picked up by a group of white men when they were walking home. And when he seen his friend again, his friend was castrated. You know why they did that? Racism, white supremacy is a worldwide system for the genetic survival of those people that are classified as white. See, they will do anything. They were trying to say, when you see old movies and pictures and postcards, because I have a postcard at home, where they had the brother's pants down and they have him swinging from a rope, where they castrated because they are sending a message that we fear them genetically. And a genetic material is in our testicles. So once you cut our testicles off, castration ain't gonna fear you no more. Because you ain't gonna be able to produce. That's why they enacted castration. They just didn't wanna, they just wasn't playing around, playing with the black male's privacy. They was doing that for a reason. And what I just gave you the reason. So here is an example, and we use this example all the time. Here is an example of white people's genetic material being destroyed. And this is the reason why they would take the position that they take. First, as I was saying, they went all around. When they first started going around the world in 1492, the 15th century, when Columbus started bringing other so-called explorers out, and they circumnavigated the globe. Everywhere they went, there were dark-skinned, melanated people, darker than them, everywhere. Everywhere they went. And when they got off that boat and had relations with the women, this is science, and had relations with the women, 9 months later, they saw that they could disappear. They saw that they could disappear because when the baby came, they didn't see themselves in the baby. So they didn't have the language that we have today, racism, white supremacy. They just interacted things. They developed the gun. Somebody said it was developed in China, maybe, but it was improved by white people, improved upon. So they developed a gun, like this. This is a gun. When Junior and I were little and Felicia's brothers and Aunt Chattie's two sons, we all say, I'm a cowboy, and if we didn't have a stick, we'll make our hand like this. This is a gun. So the brain computer works like this when you are threatened. See, racism, white supremacy operates consciously or unconsciously. The brain computer works like this. When you are threatened, when your genetic survival is threatened, the brain computer will say, I must develop a gun or weapon that can eliminate them like they can eliminate me. Again, that you can eliminate white people. Not on purpose, not to say that you don't want white people around. No. Just by merely having sex with a woman or vice versa. This is the gun that they made. Now, guess what happened if you turn that gun around? This is the barrel, and this could be the thing you cock. You know, you cock it back and you. Now, guess what happened when I turn it around? That's a penis. Testicles, phallus. Testicles, phallus. So I have, this is the black man, and I know he has a gun. This is his gun. I'm white, I got to develop something to kill him before he kills me. It's a gun. Now, don't be saying, oh, that ain't what that is. That ain't what, he don't know what he talking. Man, them people thinking, brothers and sisters. And they've been thinkers. This is a penis. Now, this is how Dr. Francis, this is nothing that I discovered. I got this from Dr. Francis Cress Welsing in studying the system of war. This is a penis. This is a gun. Both of them guns. One turned like this, one turned like this. See, when your genetic material, when you perceive that your genetics are under a threat, that you will be annihilated, you will start conducting genocide activity. Or I should say genocidal activity. But before you get to that, I wanted to give you a definite example. And some of you heard the example. Barack Obama, mother, white. This is a gift from God. This is a gift from God. But we let me finish, man. This is a gift from God. All we have to do is receive it, and we will understand better. President Barack Obama's mother was white. She's deceased. His father was black, dark black. He's deceased. They made it and produced a son named Barack Hussein Obama. When the baby came and grew up, and we see it, we see President Obama now, we can up anytime on our computer. And we look at him, where is the white? Why isn't he white like his mother? And you will see the same thing in you walk through the shopping malls, anywhere, grocery store, and you see a Hispanic man with a white woman, or versa vice. Gonna look Hispanic. They ain't gonna have blonde hair most of the time, like 90-something% of the time. They're gonna look Hispanic. Because why? Because of the genes. The darker you are, the dominant your genes are. The lighter you are, the more recessive your genes are. And the dominant takes over the recessive. So white people have predicted in the year 2040. I hope you understand genetics. I just gave you a basic overview of genetics. Now, that wasn't my genetics. That's genetics in a genetic book. That's come from a book on genetics, basic genetics. Now, white people some of their scientists, social scientists, have predicted in the year 2040, 2040, that they will be a minority in this country. You'll hear them use the term now, especially when it relates to the HISD school board. They'll say majority, minority. They talking about white people. But in the year 2040, white people will be a minority in this country. White people don't want to be a minority in this country. They don't want, and they will do anything necessary. Those people that classify themselves as white. So when you hear the word white, it only means this: I am a small minority in the world, because 9/10 of the world is made up of melanated people. 1/10 is made up of white people. Period. It is true. But they don't want that to happen here. They don't want it to happen anywhere, any country that is white. So what will happen? They will start doing what? Conducting genocidal behavior. What does that mean? Genocide only means the disruption of the genes. That's the state that we are in now. We are on a genocide track. I picked this topic because it goes together. Genetics and genocide. Those people that are classified as white feel like their genetic material is being threatened. They feel like they are being genocided. So they are doing this. Pow, pow. Yes. And other areas they're operating in with racism, white supremacy. See, every other day now, or every other week, we're seeing a tape. They're releasing a tape, or we're seeing it in almost real time when somebody is being lynched. When not somebody, when a black man, sometimes black woman, sometimes children. Because we can't stop it physically because we haven't developed to that point. And we haven't also developed to the point of checking ourselves, our own behavior, and learning what is racism, white supremacy, and exactly how it works. Most of us haven't developed to that point. We know how to put the right amount of soda water to liquor. We know how to roll a joint. We know how to get nicotine out of a cigarette. But racism, white supremacy, excuse me. But racism, white supremacy, we have not developed to that point yet. We don't get it. But white people get it. So you'll see a white boy. This is a sign that we are on a genocide track. You'll see a 17-year-old white boy walk down the middle of a street with an automatic weapon slung across him. and says he's there to defend the property. He ain't got no property there. He's from a whole nother state. And the only reason, and he was shooting people, those who were sympathetic to black people, and if he shot any black people. But I know he shot some white people who were sympathetic to the cause of black people. See, they killed them too, because that's what he was taught, Kyle Rittenhouse. Yes, exactly, 17 years old. His mother drove him there, I believe. See, white children, while we don't talk to our children about racism, white supremacy, while we refuse to do that, they did a study. It was on CNN. White kids know about race by the time they're 4 years old. We tell her, I don't see color. What the hell wrong with you? Something wrong with your eyes. See, we're not taking the position that we should see color to oppress people. We should see color to learn. See, I didn't create color in people. I didn't create, and none of you created melanin in people. God created that. And he didn't do it just to be doing it. He did it so we can learn. I don't see color. Well, something wrong with you. Because there is a chemical in your body that is called melanin. And in that melanin, I think it's a gene that is called tyrosinase. White people have it too, that produces melanin, excuse me, tyrosinase. White people got that. It just don't work. Because they are, now this may be kind of heavy for some of y'all. They are mutations. That don't make them bad. That don't make them a monster. But they are albino mutations to black. That's what they are. They have the chemical. For example, in Louisiana, when I was younger, in the back of one of my aunt's house, Aunt Hazel Young, Aunt Hayes, it was a boy that stayed up there on top of the hill. He was a albino. Aunt Chatty remembers him. He was an albino. And I used to go out, because he used to be in the yard on the hill up there. And I used to go out in the backyard and just sit on them steps and look up there and just look at him. Like, what? How did that happen? I was a young kid, but I was trying to figure that out. Nobody knows how albinos get here. It happens. In other words, whatever the number is, it could be 1 out of every 1,000. It could be 1 out of every 2,000. But you're going to produce so many dark people, and then an albino will pop up amongst that family. Same thing with animals, insects. They have white roaches. Nobody knows. They have white gorillas. Nobody knows how that happens. I guess the secret is with the creator until he reveals it. But it happens. So white people see that their genetic material is threatened. And like we said, by the year 2040, their prediction is that this country, they will be a minority. They don't want to be a minority. That is saying that they will be slowly disappearing like they are now. See, we thinking, oh, isn't that cute? Lil Ali, he got him a white girl. Yeah, she pretty though. But we ain't seeing that the system don't like that. Ooh, them some pretty children. They got long hair. That one over there got blue eyes. All the rest of them got brown. Yeah, because we got a color sickness. The racism, white supremacy offer black people color sickness. Color sickness. He ain't dark, is he? Girl, don't marry nothing darker than you. I heard men tell other young boys that don't marry nothing darker than you. We still say it. But as we celebrate that, like we may celebrate some of our relations having a white husband or a white wife, or celebrate any, like Venus Williams or Serena, whatever her name is. We black people celebrate that for various reasons, but the number one reason, excuse me, I need some water, I guess. The number one reason is racism, white supremacy teaches us to celebrate it. But at the same time, they will kill you when they had enough of it. And they had enough of it. And that ain't to say the people that they are killing marry white people or want to sleep with white people. They just pick any black person. And he's representation of the people that is marrying white people. So that brings us to this point. This is an example. Dylan Roof. Well, I know most of us don't already forgot him. Hell, most of us forgot that we come on Saturday. So I know we forgot Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof in South Carolina, city of North Charleston, walked into a church and executed 9, shot 12, killed 9, 6 women, 3 men. You know what he is reported? And he wrote it. But you know what he said when some of them were begging for their life? He said, no, I got to kill you because black men want to be with white women and y'all want to take over the country. He was a youngster too. That's why he killed them. And then Junior tells them, then they took him to Burger King. That's true. See, I remember getting in, and I'm going to call his name. I remember getting into a discussion over the radio with Dean Douglas. He thought it was funny for some reason. I think I was quite emotional about the whole thing, like any normal human being. But he said he don't know, he don't never get emotional. And I said they should have had somebody at the door, because when Dylan Roof went in, this was on a Wednesday. Man, about 10 people at any black church in the country, 10 to 15 people that come to Bible study. Maybe 20. Not 200. They don't have on a Wednesday 3 different Bible study classes, times, I should say, like they do at church. You know, that some churches are big. They have like 2 and 3 scheduled times, 9 o'clock. Then they have a group that come at 11 o'clock because then they got an overflow. They don't have none of that on Wednesday. So when he walked into that church, my position was during the discussion, somebody should have said something is up and sat close to him and broke his neck when he went for that gun. And Dean Douglas, PhD in law, thought that that was harsh. And you trying to say we can't, white people can't come to our church? Self-respect level, zero. Self-respect level, absolutely zero. And when that happens, then Dylan Roof will step in and slaughter us. See, the reason why that policeman was able to look in that camera like that as George Floyd life was being snuffed out of his body, because he saw George Floyd with a weapon. Now, wait a minute, Ali. He didn't see no weapon. I just told you what the weapon was. We talking about genetics. We ain't left genetics. The reason why Walter Scott was shot in the back. Now, that's not Walter Scott who was shot in the back last week. That's Jacob Blake. I'm talking about Walter Scott, who was shot in the back in the same city that Dylan Roof shot 9. But Dylan Roof was able to go to Burger King after slaughtering 9 people. He didn't get beat up by the police. He wasn't shot because they don't see him as a threat, although he have a gun. Just like Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old that was walking down and right past the police with their big lights and their big trucks. They don't see him as a threat. Why? Because he's white. Why did they see Jacob Blake? Because of his genetic material. Can eliminate them. And they had to execute him or attempt to. But they killed Walter Scott. He didn't survive. The policeman said he thought he had a gun. He didn't have a gun. So what are you talking about? This is what policemen say. Like they said to Jacob Blake. He was going for a knife. He wasn't going for a knife. You didn't even know the knife was there under the floorboard. So what are you talking about? He had a weapon. It was a person, white person that came on a talk show a week ago or 2. He said, yeah, I heard that he was going for a weapon. Then the host said, yeah, no, he was breaking up a fight also. Yeah, I heard about that. He brushed that to the side. Yeah, I heard that too. But I heard he was going for a weapon. He wasn't going for a weapon. So what are you talking about? Racism, white supremacy operates consciously or unconsciously. In their subconscious, he did see a weapon. His weapon, the weapon that they are constantly seeing, is a penis. And the darker you are, and the bigger you are, in their rationale, the more potent your weapon is. They're talking genetics. We're talking hopscotch. See, they talking about genetics. We're talking about all we have to do is love them. They talking about putting 6 or 7 or 9 in your back, 7 in your back. We talking about just loving them. They talking about shooting us with automatic weapons. We talking about just loving them. That ain't gonna work. And we ain't saying pick up a weapon. But no, just loving them ain't gonna work. That's why they killing us. Because when that love manifests itself into physical, like some people say, I don't hate nobody. I don't care. I don't hate white people. Man, that ain't what they talking about. But when that love for them manifests in the physical, then when the system has had enough, because the system promotes it. See, we got to be thinking, man. We don't have time. See, at this point, and it's getting late, we're gonna bring it to a close. We talked about, and we urge people to review the tape, please review it. Go to YouTube also and hit the share and like button, please. Because by the year 2021, the university says, and this is the university for those who don't know, says that we are going to make sure that every Black person know exactly what racism, white supremacy is. In other words, every household. And you have adults ahead of households. So the adults have to know before the children know. Every household will know what racism, white supremacy is, and exactly how it works. So back to the subject briefly. When you have a person walking down the street with an automatic weapon and the policeman don't stop him, he goes home. And if it wasn't a videotape, they never would have arrested him. That ought to be telling us something. But they saw him. But he is not a threat. We are threats because of the genetic material that is in our body. We can make white people disappear just by loving them physically. See, they try to tie Martin Luther King to I Have a Dream. That's it. You get the NAACP. I don't know if they still do it, but for years, when I was even young, all the way up until I think I still hear it. I heard it last year. I was born in 1965. Dr. King was shot in 68. I think I started hearing people reciting that speech somewhere 69 or 70. And they still do it, as if he was just tied to that speech. But one thing that we know now that Dr. King did not know, that having sex with white women will cause the system to kill you because you have the ability to eliminate them. Love expressed in the physical, like somebody say, oh, we got like George Foreman. All we got to do is just show more love. That expressed in the physical will cause them to kill you and do other things to you in those 10 areas of human activity. Will cause them to perform gentrification on you. Cause them to have health disparities. But we encourage you, we bring it to a close. We're encouraging you to let's push, and you see all the excellent comments that we have, the junior is writing. Tamir Rice, 12 years old. He was 12. Playing with a toy gun in the park where you supposed to play, well, where you used to play with a toy gun. That policeman it wasn't 2 seconds him arriving to the scene that he shot him. He said he looked like he was, a 12-year-old looked like he was 30 years old. But to him, he did. He's not lying. He's telling the truth. Because white people don't think, those people that classify themselves as white, they do not think black people feel pain. And it don't matter how old they are. They could be young, but they really 40 when they 8, and they cunning and trickery. So let's kill them. The music is playing and we're bringing it to a close. So next week we'll be talking about images, and I want y'all to think about that music. What's that girl named Cardi B? Cardi B, and what's the other one? Whatever her name is.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan Horse. They say Megan Thee Stallion. That's a male horse. Think about that song, and we're going to be talking about images. Okay, brothers and sisters, y'all have a good day. May God bless us always and bless our parents. May God have mercy on us forever. Amen. Good day.